Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Day 10 will take us to the 21st of October, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. May run around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. That gets us into early November. I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just say that first video release day was our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we're going to be premiering the second Christmas sneaky peeky for you at 7 PM this scene. So going to have a bit of fun, and we'll have your second Christmas sneaky peeking release at 7 PM. It'll be a premiere. I'll be in the live chat watching it with you all, and it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that, and so I shall see you all at 7 on the channel. The reason we're doing a premiere is because, of course, no live stream like we'd normally be live streaming. It's 10 to 14 day on a Wednesday, but as you can hear, I'm still recovering from what has been a very nasty virus, actually. But I think it's a virus. Been like a chesty thing, not COVID. I definitely know it wasn't COVID. Not as bad as a flu, a lot worse than a cold. It's been very strange, but I think it's finally starting to leave me now. Today's the first day since Saturday, but I haven't had razors in my throat. So although I am quite croaky and I'm still coughing and that, I am doing a lot better. So that's the reason that videos are able to restart. But I am, I'm not up doing like an hour-long live stream, so I probably won't be live streaming until Sunday. If that's all right with everyone, just let things settle down with the throat and with the voice. On Sunday, the voice actually went completely, really. So I am doing a lot better than I was like a couple of days ago. Thank you so much for all of your lovely messages of concern, support, and that. So thank you so much to all of you for all of those lovely messages that you've been sending, not just on YouTube but across social media. You're always so kind to me whenever anything happens. And yeah, thank you for all of the lovely messages. I did read them all, not been able to respond to each and every one of them, but I have read them all, and thank you so much. Now, while I was away, we hit 17,000 subscribers, so been on the grind to 17k. So yes, 17,000 subscribers has been reached. Now we're going to push on to 18k, but I'll let us have a little celebration, probably on Sunday's live stream, before I hold on. Oh, sorry, everybody. I'll let us have a little celebration, perhaps on Sunday's live stream, before we start the push, the grind to 18,000 subscribers. But no, seriously, thank you so much, everybody, for getting us to 17k. As I say, whenever these thousands come through, like 15k and then 16k and now 17k, etc., I never dreamt back in the day when I started all of this, like 2012, 2013, 2014, that I would have a channel with 17,000 subscribers. So it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. And my promise to you, it's always been, is that we're going to keep doing the content that you love, doing the video, doing the live stream, doing the short range, doing the medium range, doing the long range. We can keep churning it out, and that's my promise to you for the support that you show to me and to GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much, everybody. Right, okay, let's crack on then. So we're going to begin. Well, I haven't done this for a few days, have we? Last 10 to 14 days was Saturday. So we're going to begin having what's going on in the tropical Atlantic. So we now have a new tropical storm, actually, which is Tropical Storm Sean, just here, as well as a yellow X, just below disturbance area. So that is disturbance 1, has a low chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. Don't think you have to worry too much about that at the moment. We'll keep an eye on it though. We also have both Tropical Storm Sean, giving maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 1,006 millibars. Sean is moving west-northwestwards at 30 miles per hour. Clicking on Sean going here, we can see this is going to be staying, or predicted, only forecast, of course, predicted to stay as a tropical storm until the weekend, and then goes post-tropical just there later in the weekend and by the beginning of next week. So it doesn't look as though Sean is going to impact any particular land area. It is interesting that this season we have had a lot of storms and quite a lot of hurricanes as well. It's an above average season, but most of them have tended to be in the Atlantic itself. We have seen very few storms in the Caribbean and in the Gulf of Mexico, not been that many towards the east coast of America either. My guess is that's down to El Nino. So whilst this is an active hurricane season and tropical storm season for the Atlantic, which is in itself very unusual for like an El Nino year, it is a little bit different in that most of the storms have been away from the Gulf of Mexico, etc., 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 and this sort of area here where we know we've got the El Nino gathering pace and taking place. So we'll keep an eye on the hurricane season, of course, over the next few weeks, as we have been doing. Right, centering temperature, the CT for October is at 15.6 now. That's 5.1 degrees above the 61.99 average. That's provisional to yesterday, to the 10th of October. I think that's about as high as it's going to get. That will start trending downwards very quickly from here on in. I think we could well be in for a CT collapse, actually, over the next week. So it could be quite entertaining. I reckon we might have some days where we're taking off like up to a degree off that over the weekend and into the early part of next week. So that could well be, by this time next week, that could well be, really reduced. It'll still be above average, but I would imagine we'll shave off a good 2 or 3 degrees from that in the next week or so. These are the 500 millibar Height Anomalies from Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. We've got the ECM WF on the top and the GFS is on the bottom. So 500 millibars, 18,000 feet is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream rolling above. Red extrapolates to high pressure and blue to low pressure. You can see that the ECM has an area of high pressure to our north and northeast. In the Norwegian Sea and towards Scandinavia, low pressure is in the Atlantic Ocean. So with that, we're bringing like a southerly southeasterly type flow. This low tries to bring unsettled weather up from the south. It is pretty blocked to the north and to the northeast. So the GFS mode, look at what GFS midnight run is doing. That has high pressure again to the north and northeast, but the way it's aligned with the low pressure to the south actually brings in colder, genuine sort of east or northeasterly winds. So out of the 2 miles today, but GFS is the coldest with a genuine sort of blocking Scandinavian high. However, they are both going in the same sort of direction, so they're just variations of the same theme, really. At any time high pressure is centering, like to the north and to the northeast here, you'll see the centre of this ridge is actually around Svalbard and whatnot. Anytime that's happening, it is quite interesting. Hold on. So sorry, everybody. It is quite interesting any time that high pressure is centering to the north and to the northeast, and the potential is there for some quite chilly weather. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line is 30-year upper air temperature average. We're looking at Northampton today, last place we looked at, I think, on Saturday, 10 to 14 day. So starting off above average with the upper air temperature still at the moment, although lower than they have been. Once the cold front has pushed through by the end of the week and the weekend, we go significantly colder than average, actually, well below the red line. That's the reason that I'm thinking we could get a CT collapse in the next week. Then beyond that, we have a lot of scatter. You'll notice the white line, which is the ensemble mean, is reverting back towards average, but that is masking milder than average ensemble members up here, but colder than average ensemble members down here. Now, the thick green line is a GFS operational run. You will notice that that is extending the cold out for a good week or so, actually, beyond the initial sort of plunge. So the GFS midnight operation actually turns into quite a prolonged cold spell, to be honest, with many, many cold nights and quite chilly days too. It is at the coldest end of the range, but not necessarily an outlier. The control run to the blue line is also doing something similar. Precipitation-wise, we've got a lot of wet weather to come during this transition from warm to cold. So it's cold front today, it's stuck. That's going to be bringing heavy rain through central parts of England today and tonight. Then a little bit drier tomorrow, but tomorrow night into Friday, another deluge is on the way. After that, going drier at the end of the week, over the weekend, and into the early part of next week. Mostly dry, but quite cold. And then after that, possibly turning more unsettled into the last days of October. But of course, that is a very, very long way away and therefore unreliable. Now, look at the temperature anomalies from the 11th to the 19th of October. Still a bit on the mild average side for southern regions, but central northern parts of Britain and also into Ireland going cooler than average. It's been a long time since we've seen blues showing up on these maps. I think I'm going to go back to like July and into August for the last time we saw below average temperature anomalies here. So it has been a long time, been through a prolonged warm spell, but things now cooling down. Scandinavia, particularly Norway and northern parts of Sweden, also looking cooler. Most parts of Europe still, for the time being, hanging on to the warmer than average temperature anomalies, but changes are afoot definitely, and precipitation anomalies for the 11th to the 19th of October. They're driving average through the northern half of the country where it's coldest and average a bit wetter than average further southwards. The latest Windflow Map from northschool.net shows that change is taking place today. We've got a cold front through here. Goes back to this area of low pressure. That's below, but will give the deluge on Thursday night and into Friday morning by way that low. Just there, but for the time front, for the time being, concentrating on this cold front. So to the north of that, we've got cold air digging in from the north. To the south of it, the warm air is still holding on by its fingertips, but by the end of the week, this cold front will have pushed through. Would have brought a lot of rain as well, particularly if this low on Thursday night. But cold front will have pushed through by the end of the night and will have introduced back colder air from the north. Right, let's go through the chart data then. Oh dear, I hope my voice isn't going to go. Let's go through the chart data then. So this is, I probably sound worse than I am. I'm not feeling too bad with the throat, actually. It's much less sore than it has been since the weekend today. So I reckon I sound worse than I'm actually feeling. But yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. Anyway, this is how the UK Met Euro run until midnight Saturday. So by then, the cold front is over France and the Low Countries, and all places, therefore, will be turning cooler or colder with those northwesterly winds. We go into Sunday, we're in a northerly flow, so we're going to be feeling much cooler. Will be mostly dry, but could be wintry showers in the far north and northeast of Scotland, but most places will be dry. Plenty of sunshine, but watch out for those chilly nights. High pressure band ridges in through the early part of next week. That's a cold ridge, so with clear skies at night, that will be delivering cold and potentially frosty nights. And by this time next week, Wednesday 18th of October, just signs of that high pressure is starting to migrate up towards Scandinavia, perhaps. Icon, again, has that northerly wind on Saturday into Sunday. Keep wind in that chilly northerly direction. Then Monday, Tuesday brings that high pressure in across the country, mostly dry, but probably quite cold with the risk of some overnight frost. As we get to the end of the Icon run, again, gets us to Wednesday, 18th of October. Once again, just signs of high pressure. They begin to migrate up to Scandinavia. Could we start bringing in some easterly winds? The GFS midnight run, again, showing that northerly wind setting in by the weekend. So all places colder over the weekend with some chilly nights to come. Probably the first widespread frost of the season as this high pressure ridges in within that quite cold air through the early part of next week. And then by the middle of next week, the GFS midnight run taking that high pressure up to Scandinavia. And as we saw on the 500 millibar Height Anomalies flow chart, Penn State University, the GFS midnight run turns that high pressure into a genuine proper Scandinavian high and pulls in an easterly wind. So we have got some cold air sitting to our east here by the middle of next week. Minus 5 cells iceberg is over Scandinavia and into northern parts of Germany. And as we get into the last stages of next week, we pull those easterly winds in. You can see the easterly is originating from a long way east. It actually originates from western parts of Russia. So yes, cold air is drifting in on those easterly winds. Probably colder for a few winter showers sharp on the east coast, but the main thing would be, like with dew points around freezing, cold and frosty nights are likely. That's a chart for day 10. And, well, if this was like a couple of months on, that would be very cold, actually, with those east-northeast winds. This is only October. It won't be that cold, but it will be very chilly at the very least. You would probably say cold. Or maybe cold enough for a few wintry showers on the east coast. Beyond that, well, we begin to lose the Scandinavian high. Some milder air starts moving in from the Atlantic into the final week of October before another low dies in on the 27th of October, as far as we get to. GFS midnight run pulls the wind in from the north-northwest and probably brings cold air back in from the north again. This is how the GFS 6Z is looking in comparison. Again, we've got those northerly winds on Saturday. They'll have a real chill to them. And then high pressure ridges in from off the Atlantic through the weekend to the open next week. That will bring some cold nights with clear skies. Middle to second half next week again, the GFS 6Z also taking that high pressure up to Scandinavia, pulling in the wind from the east. So yes, also on the 6th, we have a proper east-northeasterly wind here. Quite cold air coming in from the east. It's not beast from the east. Don't be running away. That idea, it's much, much too early in the season for a beastly easty, but could be cold enough for a few wintry showers towards those eastern coast. The eastern wind is maintained up to day 10, which is the 21st of October. And then we start to turn wind back to the south-southeast as low pressure comes in from off the Atlantic. So it turns much milder as we head in towards the last week of October, but also very wet with this deep low to the west of Ireland and the UK bringing heavy rain and strong winds across the country. That's how you finish up with the GFS 6Z, mild but wet. If you're enjoying this video, please you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. We've just hit 17,000 subscribers. Unbelievable. Thank you so much, everyone, for getting us to 17k. GM, I'm so sorry, let me have a cough. There we go, that should be a little bit better. GM, again, with the wind in from the north on Saturday. That's bringing wintry shower potentially to the north and also some quite cold air as the high pressure ridges in from off the Atlantic. I would expect it settles down next week, but will be quite cold with some overnight frost. The GM tried to get the high pressure up to Scandinavia around days 8, 9, 10, but doesn't really do so successfully. So just mostly dry, anticyclone. Probably quite cold, though, with that area of high pressure, particularly so for more eastern regions, mainly dry. I would think fog could be increasing issue there up to around day 10, with certainly ground frost possible for eastern regions. And then the ECM WF all rounding it all off with that cold front introducing the northerly wind by the weekend. Into next week, the high pressure brings mostly dry weather with some cold, frosty nights. And then into the middle of next week, high pressure goes up to Scandinavia, although we don't get a direct easterly. So we have got like a proper Scandinavian high there backing in towards the Arctic. But because of this low here, it all just lines up to bring the wind in from like a southeasterly direction, which will be chilly, but isn't anywhere near as cool as like the GFS output is. However, it's interesting because if we was to take that low pressure down towards Biscay and run it into the Med, I suspect this ridge would then take over and pull the wind from that southeasterly into a genuine easterly wind. we'll have to wait and see. This is my precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. This is the cold front being stuck across England and Wales today, and that rain gradually dies out tomorrow, but then the next low comes in from off the Atlantic tomorrow night and into Friday, bringing lots of wet weather with it. Finally, by the end of Friday into Saturday, we're getting that out of the way, and we're pulling in more chilly northern winds. Again, you'll notice shower turning wintry across northern parts of Scotland there. Next week, mostly dry under the area of high pressure, probably some quite cold nights, so and then we start turning wind into that southeasterly direction with outbreaks of rain to the west and to the south as well. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles to date. 4-day Temp gets us to the 21st of October from the Icelandic Met Office. 15 members of the ECM ensembles with a Scandinavian high. Low pressure is to our west and south, winds coming in from a southeasterly direction, so quite unsettled. Chilly, but probably not that cold. 13, including the control run with high pressure again towards Scandinavia, low pressure to our south and west. Again, looking quite unsettled and wet, particularly from the south and west, with that wind in from the southeast. We've got 9 just here, with high pressure stronger with the Scandinavian high. That's going to be closer to the GFS output, potentially bringing like a proper easterly. And then we've got 8 down here, also doing what the GFS operations are doing with a proper sort of Scandinavian high and easterly type wind. And then we've got 6, including the operational run with high pressure again, just a little bit stronger to the north, but further away to the north, low pressure to the south and to the southeast. That is very close by day 10 to starting to bring in some proper easterly winds. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 26th of October. 14 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to the north and low pressure to the south, winds in from an easterly direction there, so that could be quite chilly. 13 with high pressure again ridging through the country, mostly dry, could be some quite cold nights. 12 with a genuine Scandinavian high heading towards Greenland and Iceland, that's really blocked with proper easterly winds, that will feel quite cold. 7 with high pressure more in the Atlantic towards Greenland, bringing a little bit more of a northeasterly influence. Again, that's going to be quite cold though. And 5 with high pressure over to the east of the country, mostly dry, but potentially quite chilly. CFS B2 finally, piece of 500 millibar high times breakdown into week periods. The first week period takes us to the 11th, 17th of October. This week that we're currently in has high pressure in the Atlantic, low pressure to east-northeast. We bring the wind in from a northwesterly direction, so probably quite, will be quite chilly, especially by the weekend. Week 2 will be the 18th to 24th of October, high pressure to the east, low pressure to the west, mostly dry, winds coming in from a southerly, southeasterly direction with that one. Week 3 will be the 25th of October to the 31st, so high pressure then to the east, low pressure to the west. That's a little bit more unsettled, should be mild though, winds coming in from the southwest. And then finally, week 4 looks quite strange. It's the 1st to the 7th of November. So we've got some high pressure then blocking in the Arctic. Low pressures over towards eastern parts of America and Canada. I was just putting a question mark. That's a very strange looking anomaly. Not sure what's happening there. Now, this is interesting. The temperature anomaly with the CFS for this week, week 1, 11th, 17th of October, is colder than average. CFS was not showing that, just like on Saturday or on Friday when we did GMA Friday. So that's the reason that I always concentrate on like the 500 millibar heights and or mean sea level pressure anomalies, and don't take the temperature anomalies too seriously, because these models will not forecast cold weather and or cold temperature anomalies until it actually happens. So that's the reason that it's always the pressure is what you got to focus on, the pressure and the heights, much less so temperatures. As it is, once this week's out of the way, then the model reverting to above average temperature pretty much throughout. So, how seriously you take that, we'll have to see. Right, okay, we don't need to enjoy the video. Please you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all our videos. And don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much, everyone. Right, we're back in business with our videos. And just to say that we're going to be premiering the second Christmas 2023 Sneaky Peeky at 7 PM this evening. I'll see you a little bit later on for that. I'll be in the live chat with everybody. That video will probably appear about 5-ish, I would have thought, you know, the watch page of that. So look out for it, and at 7 PM, the premiere will commence. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you all later for that. Tomorrow, we're going to have the 6 AM UK weather forecast. There'll be the European outlook, I think, and also 10 to 14 day. So keep checking back to the channel for more. For this 10 to 14 day, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.